Good morning to all of you. So today we are starting our first chapter, Fundamentals of Engineering Mechanics. We have discussing about this your what is your force, what is mechanics, and what is free body diagram, and what is tension, compression. So today class we are discussing about what is the classification of force. Okay. So first of all, I want to tell you that what is force. Any physical quantity which change rest of state or motion of a body that we called force. So next one is in our graph, that is force system. Okay. So now we will discuss about what is force system. So when if one force acting on a body, that one single force, but when number of forces or a group of forces are acting on one body, that is called your force system. Okay. So whenever one action is acting on a body, that means it is force, and whenever more than one or a group of forces are acting in one body, that is your called force system. Okay. So we know that force is a vector quantity, and it have magnitude and direction, but in mechanics the point of application of forces is taken into account with magnitude and direction. Next, when we discuss about your force system, it is classified into your different types. First one is your, it is divided into coplanar forces, non-coplanar forces, then your concurrent forces, and coplanar concurrent forces, coplanar non-concurrent forces, non-coplanar force concurrent forces, and last one is your collinear forces, which is your like unlike forces. Okay. So now we discuss it one by one. So come to the next slide. So this is the picture of your force system. Okay. So when we know about any force, then we should know about the three things, that is what are the system, and what are the types of force which acting on the body. So first of all, I want to explain you that what is your coplanar force. Okay. So basically coplanar force means it act on one plane. Okay. And which is your 2D system. Okay. So the force whose lines of action lie on the same plane is known as coplanar forces. Okay. So see here in this plane, here one single plane which is 2D diagram or 2D system, and in this one plane there are so many forces are acting, your F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, all the 5 forces are acting in one plane. Then we are calling this is your coplanar forces. So next, for example, for your coplanar forces, that is for example we are taking a carom board. Okay. And when we play with coins and strikers, that move in different direction, but that will move in one single plane. So this is your coplanar forces. So next come to the concurrent forces. So concurrent forces means the forces which are acting in your one plane, but which is originated from one single point. See here this diagram. Here all the forces are coming out from one single point and it is lie in one plane. Okay, then it is called your concurrent forces, and all the forces having magnitude, direction. Okay. And it have in a coming from a common point. So all of you understood. So whenever for example a carom board, and whenever we are strike a striker to any direction, it may be moving uh, any direction, that is east, west, north, south, but it is originate from one origin point. So this is your concurrent forces. So next come to the next, coplanar concurrent force. So what do you mean by coplanar concurrent force? The force whose lines of action lies on the same plane and at the same time pass through a common point. So first of all, I am already told you that coplanar means it is all the forces are acting in a single plane, and your concurrent forces means all the points are in a single plane but originated from one common point. So coplanar concurrent means both are combined, means all the points are coming from one single point and which is lie in one plane. Okay, it may be from originated from one point, that is acting at common point, or originate from one point. Okay, so next come to the another force system, which is your coplanar non-concurrent force. Okay, so whenever the forces will be act more than one plane, that is called your non-coplanar forces or non-concurrent forces. Okay, that is your 3D system. The forces whose lines of action lie the same plane but don't pass through a common point, that is called your non-concurrent forces. Okay, coplanar non-concurrent forces means all the forces are parallel to each other but that are not originated from a single point. Here, this picture shows you that all the forces are acting on a same plane but all are in a individual direction. They are not coming from one single point, then that is called your coplanar non-concurrent forces. Next one is your non-coplanar concurrent forces. That means whenever your forces are acting on more than one plane, that is called your non-coplanar concurrent forces, which is your 3D system. Okay, and the forces in its definition is the force whose lines of action don't lie in the same plane but pass through a common point is known as your non-coplanar concurrent force here. Okay, and for example, when we are kick a football and when it fly with three dimension. Okay, so this is your non-coplanar concurrent forces. Last one is your collinear forces. Collinear means all the forces are meet in one plane. So the forces whose lines of action are at the same is known as your collinear forces. So see here this picture, here two forces P and Q. Okay, so both are forces are acting in a same line. So this is called your collinear, which meet in one plane or one line, that is called your collinear forces. Okay, so this is all about your force system. What is your coplanar forces? What is your concurrent forces? What is your coplanar concurrent forces and coplanar non-concurrent forces, non-coplanar concurrent forces, and what is your collinear forces? So basically how you can understood this one, coplanar means all the forces are acting in a single plane, that is your coplanar forces. Concurrent means all the forces are lie in one single plane but originated from one common point. And the next one, coplanar concurrent forces mean all the forces whose lies are acting on the same plane and at the same time are passes through a common point, which is passes through a common point. Okay, you understood the difference between your concurrent forces and coplanar concurrent forces. Concurrent forces, only the forces are originated or come through a common point, but in coplanar concurrent forces all the forces are passes through a common point. Okay, and coplanar non-concurrent forces, the forces whose lines of action align a same plane but they are not passes through each other. All are individual. Okay, and next one is the non-coplanar concurrent forces which have more than one plane, which is 3D system. Last one is your collinear forces, that means all the forces and acting the line of action arises in a same plane. Okay, in a single line. The force whose lines of action are in the same is known as collinear forces. So this is your all about your force system. Okay. So next we will be discussing in our next slide. Thank you.